Hi, AT from CNC at Home. I was going around the internet looking for some projects and I came across this website. As I scrolled down the page, I came across this section, the platonic solids, and they reminded me of some standard dice that we use for gaming. 4-sided, 6-sided, 8-sided, 12-sided, and a 20-sided die. I thought this would be an interesting project. So I clicked on the more options.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
On this page, I see the different layouts for each of these and some options. We can change the units of measure, we can change some size and some other parameters. I did make it a little bit smaller, so this mid-sphere diameter I set to 30. And for the glue flap size, since I made the main part smaller, I decided to make this smaller as well, and I went down to 12. The rest of these, I left the same. I did want to have this in an SVG format, so I clicked on that. And then clicking Create, it basically just creates an SVG file that I can download. Once the file was downloaded, I opened it up in Lightburn. Once in Lightburn, there's a bunch of information that I really don't need, such as this little logo here, and there's some others, up here. There's some logos and stuff up here. I don't need any of that stuff. I also found that many of these things are grouped together, so I just grabbed all of this stuff and ungrouped it. And I just came back and grabbed it all again. Still grabbing more stuff. Oh, I grabbed the wrong one. Sorry, ungroup. Ungroup. And I can delete some of that pretty easily. If I zoom in here, I don't need to have that information, so let me ungroup that. Boom. I don't need to have this. Get rid of that. Don't need that. Grab this. This. I'm going to go ahead and keep the names on here just for fun. So here we have an octahedron. So that's got the 8-sided. Here's a dodecahedron. That's the 12 sides. Now we've got all of these different pieces. I need to arrange them in a way that they will fit onto a standard piece of paper because that's how I'm going to do them. So let's make a template. I'll just make a rectangle. I'll put it on a tool layer. Make sure my aspect ratio is unlocked. And I'm going to do an 11-inch by 8.5 inch. And Lightburn converts that to metric for me. Just nice. I'll throw that in the lower left corner. This is my working area. So if I grab one of these shapes, I can move it into a spot over here on my material, essentially. Grab this piece, make sure that we get all of it. Throw that one up here. I don't need them real precise at the moment. Grab this one. Move that here. Gonna have to rotate these a little bit, I think. Get this one over here. So if we grab this, just hit the period key and rotate that and use the room a little more efficiently. We'll do the same with this one. And then we get all 5 of these shapes fitting on our piece of paper. The next thing is to assign to the different layers the correct material parameters. This purple layer it needs to be a cut through or burn through. So if I go to my material, I'm going to be cutting this out of cardstock. And I'm going to use purple cardstock. And we'll just assign the cut parameter so that will cut through on all those purple layers. If I right click on here. They should all blink. Those are the things that were affected. This layer, which is layer 14, that's going to be something that we want to just slightly etch. So I'll go into our etching parameters. We've got purple, white. I'll go ahead and assign that. I'm going to want that to be a little bit darker, and I don't want it to be a fill either. And that's not really darker. I just need it to burn through a little bit more. So not just on the surface. I want to be able to fold easily on these lines, but I don't want it to cut through. I'm going to set the power to 30% for that. Go ahead and click OK. What else do we have here? Okay, we have the names. Those are superfluous. So let's grab all of the names and switch them to a different layer. And I'm going to put those on a tool layer, so we don't have to worry about them, but they'll still show up. I want to make sure that the cutting layer burns last. We right-click on C15. It's that layer. Well, we don't have to move it because it's already second. So it's going to etch this first one. It'll cut all of these lines, and then this one will cut through the paper so these shapes can come out. One more thing that I do want to do is I need to put numbers in here. So I just go to my our text tool, and I can just click and say that I want the number 1. And opposite over here, I want number 6. And over here, I'll do 4, 3, and 5. I can't really center this in the square easily, so I'm just going to have to eyeball each one of these, but that shouldn't be too difficult to say, yep, that's about center. That's about center. I can align these with each other if I really wanted to. It looks like they're pretty close, and they won't be seen this way once the die is actually cut out and glued up. For this layer, it can either go before or after the lines. I'm going to go ahead and put it before, so that's the first thing that it does. And I will use the purple paper white fill. And what the white fill is was something I found out when I was doing my material test. If I cut this at the right speed and power, when it etches, it essentially burns away the color of the paper and leaves a white etch behind, which is kind of cool. So this will end up being a purple piece of paper with white numbers on it. I'll go ahead and fill in the rest of these for the 4-sided, the 8-sided, the 12-sided, and the 20-sided die. And then we'll send that to the laser and see how they get cut out. With these all cut out with the laser, we have the number showing up in white, which is kind of a cool process. See if we can get that in here a little better. By using the right burning speeds and power, the purple paper turns white but doesn't cut through. I do have parameters for cutting through, and then I have parameters for getting these lines, which allows me to fold this fairly accurately. I've already folded up my little 4-sided pyramid, and that's turned out pretty well. You can see that here. So this essentially is mimicking a 4-sided dice. I need to get these tabs glued up so that these edges will then stay together. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. I'm going to start out just using some basic white school glue and glue the stuff together. And I'm not sure quite how I'm going to clamp this or get things to hold together. I might hold it for a while, see if the glue is tacky enough. Another option is potentially to use a rubber band, maybe. We'll see what works. I may need to take this nozzle off and clean it. See if just a little bit of glue will do anything. You know, hot glue might work. I'm thinking about that because that'll hold this probably well enough. This seemed to glue up okay. The hot glue kind of cures very quickly. I cannot do too many tabs at a time. I don't know if you can see this little chunk here. So that did an okay job. This will make a nice paper dice. There's a 4, 3, 2. What about our 4-sider here? Let's get this rubber bands off of that. So that seemed to work okay. That's a roll to 2, roll to 4. I started with this simple one and then moved up to the more sides. That's just going to help me with my process. But essentially it's just folding all of these, gluing them. That's all there is to it. I'll just go ahead and get this into fast motion. Okay, let's get all these back in frame. That was not easy to do. The gluing got more difficult as there became more sides to these shapes. Not that gluing the 4-sided one was that easy, but compared to doing the 20-sider, that was easy. And you can see here, I just couldn't get the glue to do what I needed it to. I need the glue to stay liquidy long enough to get the stuff stuck together, and then I need it to glue right away. And unfortunately, that time changes depending on the complexity of how this is getting glued together. So it didn't turn out horrible by any means, but there's like this big clump. Zoom in on that. There's a big clump of glue right here. And it is what it is, but that'll work. So we've got a 12-sider, we've got the 20-sider, we've got an 8, a 6, and a 4 out of this project. And they turned out okay. more of a novelty than anything else, but it will be fun to show these off the next time I do some gaming. I can show them off to my brother as well. He'll probably think they're interesting. Maybe you can do a little bit of cleanup on there where some glue's sticking out. I might be able to get some of that off, maybe, without tearing the paper, or not.
I hope you really enjoyed that video. It was a fun one to make. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. As always, if you like the content of our channel, think about subscribing, as that really helps us out. Enjoy doing your CNC at home projects. Oops.
See if we can roll a 20. 2, 3, 18, 4, 7, 18, 9, 3, 17, 17, 18, 7, 4, 11, 12, 18, 17, 14, 18, 1. Uh-oh. A 20, finally.
Okay, easy peasy. Bye-bye.